I'm Josh, aka Kaminari, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to level up quickly and get to max level in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. So, hope you enjoy the video and let's get started. So, we're in the main menu today because I wanted to go over a few things before we get started in the video. To do with the characters in the main menu that you have available to you. So my first point of recommendation is to start with one character, pick any race or whatever. Just make sure you are focusing entirely on one character, because if you are doing multiple different characters, it will take way longer and it will be way more tedious, and you're essentially doing like however many characters you have times the work for literally no reward. So pick a main character, complete the story, complete all the parallel quests and stuff. Hard focus on this part of the game. DLC, you can do whatever you want. In terms of the main parallel quest, first thing you need to do, complete the story, complete all the parallel quests, like at least once so you have them all done. That way, when it comes to leveling or grinding for things, you can go to this character and then go to the next character to do it. So, for example, if when it comes to grinding TP medals, which I'll show you how to get into later, if you grind on one character and then switch to the other, it means that if you want to train them up or whatever you want to do with the TP medals, you can use it with the other characters. So, and the reason these characters are at the exact same level, so basically what I did is grind out this character, then made these two, used Zenny that I'd farmed up with the character, get these two to level 80, and then completed the story mode with both of them. Then I went to these two, went to level 80, haven't touched the story mode yet. And with these two, I'm not going to touch any parallel quests pretty much, because I'll just do parallel quests with him, and then use whenever I do anything with these ones, I'll just use these characters. Maybe I'll slowly get to the parallel quests, but it's not priority because I can just go back to him. And you can see from the stats, I focused on Ki Blast, Ki, and Attack, just because how I play and the Saiyans having pretty good melee and Ki Blast. And then this was a mainly Ki Blast based thing. That was the plan with this one. So basically, because I do Final Explosion with him, the main thing will be a max Ki Blast and stamina. With her, it was mainly attack, and then even throughout like strike and blast, so she's more balanced, but still mainly in one. And then these two, I think are focused in Ki, but not slightly differently to the other two. It's hard to tell because of how low it is, but you can see the difference with all of these. So yeah, let's get into the game. So now that we're in Canton City, we're going to head to this guy, and as you can see when I click on him, if I wanted to level up, it would cost me TP medals or STP medals, which I wouldn't recommend using on this, but because they're functionally the same thing, because the STP medal shop will have better things, but if you wait, they will come to the regular TP medal shop. So I basically don't care about STP medals and just see them as like having extra TP medals. So yeah. So initially when you start, this will be he will trade with Zenny until level 80. So that's what I would recommend doing for him. It will be harder when you're starting out because you'll have less stuff, but as you start doing more advanced missions, it will get easier. So that's what I recommend doing. And the final bit before we start discussing the actual mission is to go to, once you've done enough of these expert missions, you'll have these two missions. You can see all the little moves you get, things like that. But that's not really the focus of here. You can say this one is good, but because of the difficulty of it, I wouldn't recommend prioritizing this one. These are easy to get, and you'll get slightly less TP medals, but because you can finish them so quickly, especially if you do it online, it's worth sticking with these two, either Goku or Vegeta. So I probably will stick with the footage I have of grinding out these missions, and then post commentary, because there's no point in me sitting there and going through the nitty gritty when I have examples freshly made. So let's get going with that. So I'm going to be explaining the ins and outs of how to tackle raids, which moves to prioritize. I'm going to tackle this from like no DLC perspective. You'll see some DLC in the background, but depending on your circumstances, whether you want to do it without or with, I'll go through stages. So without DLC, with DLC. So without DLC, first immediate one I'd recommend is Cooler's Supernova. Just that's the best ultimate to spam in these the Goku and Vegeta raids, because it does decent damage and you can repeatedly do it quickly. Frieza's one is you can do it, but it's a lot slower, so you'll get stamina broken and it'll be a bit of a waste of time. You could use Kid Boo's ultimate as well, because it got an update ages ago that fixed some of the problems that it had. Warp Kamehameha is pretty good. And then lower down the list, any beams are like Final Flash, Kamehameha. They work, but like I wouldn't recommend them. Oh, and a big one, Emperor's Death Beam and Final Shine Attack, but only with builds where you've maxed out Ki, because you can take advantage of the way the game mechanics work. And then for super attacks, if you want to be efficient, so like if you're not leveled up higher than compared to other people, I'd use Innocence Bullet from Fat Boo, because he poisons the enemy, so he'll be weaker throughout the fight. And I think it's a permanent debuff you'll give them. It's hard to pull off, but I would recommend it as a starting out thing. Bending Kamehameha, because of the way it works, it does really good damage, especially if you're on a Ki build. But also, just to be clear, when it comes to this mission, either you need to be like a Ki adjacent build or a Ki build. It doesn't matter as much the higher leveled you go, because you do so much damage in general. But if you've got like, say, 70 or something in Ki, that's still enough that because of your base stats being so high, it doesn't matter at a certain point because of how broken everything is now. So I would recommend not using like a strike based build. So if you want to do raids offline, I would recommend, like, because of the way the game works, stick with the account you want to grind on, but select your character that you've worked to make a Ki Blast build for, and that way you don't have to use any specific base game characters to do the raids. So that's basically where you want to put your attention to if you don't want to like only have Ki Blast characters. I don't mind having lots of Ki Blast characters, and I have like middle ground. So my Saiyan character is a bit of both when it comes to strike based and Ki Blast. So I made it work in that aspect. So I don't mind some build being Ki Blast, some build being strike based, because I've built it to be that way. So yeah, in terms of what you want to do, you're either spamming spammable Ki Blast supers, so bending Kamehameha times 10, Evil Explosion can be good. Those are the main ones in terms of base no DLC. that even IC or just you would use in general. The only one I would say is Evil Explosion. I think it got nerfed so it doesn't teleport you, but Kamehameha times 10 still teleports you, so it's still pretty good. So in terms of DLC, my main one I think of, oh yeah, Final Explosion, but you need a key stamina build. So yeah, that was the last one. But anyway, back to my tangent goal. DLC, Super Baby's Ultimate, the Revenge Death Ball. Make sure you have a max key build, and just spam it because it will take all your key, but it will do a lot of decent damage. His Revenge Final Flash is pretty good because it's hard to land because it's just a straight line. It's relatively fast. As long as the Goku of Vegeta isn't moving, you'll get a solid hit off. Frieza's new move, the one that summons like blades near the opponent, that one's pretty good. That from what I've used. Z Broly's basically any of Z Broly's key blast moves, the DLC Broly, I would recommend. His ultimate, basically, if you know how to use it, go for it. But if you don't, just go for like a big key blast. SS Deadly Bomber because it tracks pretty good. Yeah, I guess going back to non-DLC for a second. Soul Purification, it was like a staple. You have to get up close. Final Kamehameha as well, but you need to get close to do max amount of damage. But okay, DLC. Oob's Ultimate, that's pretty good because 3 bars, but if you charge it, it will do decent damage. And the first Super Broly's Ultimate, that's pretty decent. And I think that's it in terms of practically useful in a raid. So yeah, that's basically what you want to do. I would recommend doing it online because you get to do 3 missions if you set up the lobby or people set up the lobby. Because I play on Switch, so it depending on the day, it's hard to find raids to. You do 3 missions in a row, and typically you would keep doing it over and over again to grind the missions to get XP. And also, if you're starting out, I'd recommend using the £40 weight because you'll double your XP that you're getting. Or Barber has a Super Soul in the TP Metal Shop at the moment that times your Zenny and your XP by 1.5, so that's pretty good. The one I got was from ages ago where your Zenny or your XP has a chance to either times by 0 or a max of times by 7. So basically you're like gotchaing your way through the missions. Sometimes you'll get really lucky and you'll level up in no time. Sometimes you'll just get money and the TP medals you earned. And it's faster technically, but it has its ups and downs. Sometimes it does feel slow, but you're rarely getting zeros because you've got a big pool to draw from. But the main Z Soul I'd probably recommend is Goku's one that makes your Zenny go to 0 but your score times by 3 because that's your XP, so that's what you'd want to focus on. But the way I've done it, because I'd rather still have Zenny coming in just because it's starting to be useful. Okay. Lastly, in terms of how to do the missions now, in terms of how to actually unlock each level, so you want to go to the item shop and there'll be a list of golden foods to buy. I would recommend just buying one of all of those, and then go to Whis and he'll ask for the parfait. Give it to him. and make sure you do this when you're on level 99. He'll unlock your level to be, he'll increase your point cap from 125 to 140, and then increase your level to 120. Then if you give them the next food item, it'll go to 140 and the cap will stay the same. Then 160, and then the cap will go to 200, I think. And then 180, the cap will stay the same, but you have a lot more points to work with at that point. So yeah, that's how that works. I hopefully would have thrown in some examples, because with the final mission with Whis, you basically just have to fight your either your custom created Xenoverse 1 character or the default Xenoverse 1 character you had, and then you get the max levels. It makes it more interesting than just giving them an item, getting them points, well, the ability to get more points and stuff. So yeah, I haven't seen a guide like this in a while, and I just thought it'd be helpful to give a current day perspective, because moves have updated, more DLC is out. Like basically any Broly DLC is probably going to help you grind out XP. A lot, like you could use Beast Gohan's moves, but because it's a literal straight line, you can miss. So stuff like that, where I didn't recommend it in terms of like, you definitely should use it, but there's lots of DLC, there's lots of variety. So you could use Core Breaker, but you're probably going to miss every time you try and fire it. So there are reliable things, but fundamentally, make sure you're doing online, because you'll also get super mixed capsules, which you can use to make 6-star QQ bangs. So that will help. If you will care about that, do it online. If you don't, just focus on doing it offline, because if you're there for the XP, you're there for the XP. I prefer to do it online because I want the QQ bangs. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.